What is up, YouTube? My name is Evan, and I'm going to bring you a deck that I played last weekend, and I didn't go to like a League Cup with it or anything, but I just had a lot of fun kind of playing around my local with it, and I really wanted to share it. It's a deck I've been wanting to bring you for quite a while. It's Ho-Oh Reshiram. We're running 4 Ho-Oh GX, and this deck is literally, it's one of those nice decks where your entire mission is turn 1 to set up that Phoenix Burn. You know exactly what you're trying to do, and the whole deck is basically built around that concept of turn 1, Kiawe that Phoenix Burn up and online. And in the event that we can't get that, we go for sort of like our our plan B, which is Reshiram. We're running 2 Reshiram GX, and the plan in that case is to power up that Flame Charge to get into a Vermilion GX so that we can set up a Ho-Oh that way. Ho-Oh does a tremendous amount of damage. It's just a really, really solid mon. It's got 190 HP, and a lot of decks just cannot handle how quickly you can set up and just wipe things out. You have some interesting matchups against quite a lot of the meta right now, including things like Blacephalon, where it can be kind of, it's kind of shaky if you set up really well, which this deck does very well. You may well be in a really good position to win because this is just conveniently exactly right to knock out Blacephalon. It's also not too bad against things like Zerwerk because obviously one choice band and your Phoenix Burn is one-shotting those. So our support for this whole lineup is we got 1 Turtonator GX, and this guy is here almost exclusively for his Nitro Tank GX. In the event that we don't Vermilion, this guy is going to be our GX move. That way when a Ho-Oh goes down, we can just Nitro Tank and put all that energy right back on another Ho-Oh, and maybe even say put a 5th energy onto this guy so he might build a Bright Flame or something like that. We've got 1 Victini Prism because they won't let us run any more than that, obviously. Its Infinity is a great way to recycle those energies, so you might be able to set up again later and you don't run out. And it does a tremendous amount of damage, obviously, with that attack. If you've had, like, say, a couple of Ho-Ohs go down, you've had to discard a couple of Fire Energies, you can easily be looking at, like, 200 damage with this attack. Pretty darn good. And it only surrenders 1 prize when it's knocked out, which is also good. Tapu Koko here. This is an amazing card in this deck, too, because our Phoenix Burn can't be used 2 turns in a row unless we switch the Ho-Oh out. So being able to Guzma in a good target for our Ho-Oh and then bringing the Koko just so we can pivot back out to the Ho-Oh is really, really solid. It's a very good play. That way we don't have to use like a switch, and we have the advantage of Guzma being able to be like a sort of a pseudo Lysander. We're also running 1 Oranguru, Instruct Oranguru. It's a good nest ball target. It's just something that gives us some nice draw power, and we can definitely play our hand out in a lot of scenarios. So he's there to exploit that. We've also got 2 Tapu Lele GX. It does all the things Tapu Lele does, plus it means that if you have any out to Ho-Oh plus an Ultra Ball, you can get that Kiawe. So this, in many ways, is sort of like the turn 1 Kiawe right there. So you have plenty of outs to that turn 1 Kiawe, which is definitely what we're after. And that's your entire Pokemon lineup. It's all basics. And our supporters, we're running 4 Kiawes because Kiawe is an out to Kiawe. And later in the game, obviously, you're just going to discard this to Fiery Flint or Ultra Ball or, whatever. But you definitely want to hit it early as possible. If not turn 1, then, that turn 2 on Ho-Oh. But I've hit it pretty much turn 1 almost every game. We're running 4 Cynthias because we have 15 supporters, so this cycles them back in for later use. This can preserve our Guzmas because we definitely are really big fans of Guzma in this deck. We've also got 3 Lilies. It's obviously probably your second choice of supporters on turn 1. If we can't fire off the Kiawe, then Lily to 8 never hurts. And we can definitely play our hand down to 2 or 3 pretty easily, so it's a nice card draw supporter in the event that we don't have Cynthia. And we have 4 Guzmas. It resets our Ho-Oh. It lets us pick targets that we can KO for 2 prizes, hopefully disrupt setup. It does all the things Guzma does. That's the supporter lineup, short and sweet. Very straightforward. Item-wise, also pretty straightforward. We're running 4 Ultra Balls for all the obvious reasons that everyone runs Ultra Ball. We've got 4 Nest Balls because we really want to make sure we get that Ho-Oh as consistently as possible. We've got 2 Fiery Flint. These are here pretty much exclusively for Reshiram's GX, but you can also use it to sort of burn your hand down so that you can use Oranguru or Lily, things like that there. Or if you absolutely need, 1 or 2 energies, they can go get that too. But the only time you really get 4 with Fiery Flint, obviously, is for the Reshiram. But sometimes you start the Reshiram, so it's good to have 2 copies of it. We're running 2 Wishful Baton. This is a really solid card in this deck. Slap this on that early Ho-Oh because a lot of times you won't need the band. and this can function almost like a second Kiawe that doesn't cost you a turn in a lot of ways, because putting that 3 energy from one mon to another when it gets knocked out is a great way to keep up the pressure on your opponent. It's a really, really useful card, and a lot of people are only running like one Field Blower, if that, and a lot of times they'll see us and they'll discard their Faba if they're running it, so this is a nice little sneaky way when you know the knockout's probably coming to really take advantage of that. We do have 2 choice bands though, because there are a number of mons like Zoroark or Alolan Ninetales, for example, who get put right into Ho-Oh's KO range once you slap that choice band on. So don't throw it down too easily. Play it a little conservatively, only drop it when you need it, and this card will definitely do right by you. We are running 2 switches, just in case we don't have the Guzma or whatever. This can still be a good way to reset your Ho-Oh. You can either switch out to your Tapu Koko and switch back in, or you can also switch to, like, say, Tapu Lele and retreat for 1, that sort of thing. And we are running 1 Rescue Stretcher, because sometimes we're going to have to discard things we don't want to. It's a nice little reset there. Make sure you get the right thing at the right time. Gets back Coco. We have 1 Pal Pad, just to sort of get you the right supporters for the situation. A lot of times it's going to be you're just recycling your Guzmas, but I like Pal Pad. I think it's useful in this deck. And finally, we are also running 1 Field Blower. This can get rid of pesky stadiums and disrupt your opponent, of course, but primarily this can also pick off things like, say, bodybuilding dumbbells that might otherwise push something out of our KO range. So that's a nice way to kind of have a 1 out to prevent that sort of thing. So that's our item lineup. Like I say, pretty straightforward. And last but not least is our energy lineup, and we are running 14 fire energies. It's all basic, all straightforward. That way we can access it all with Kiawe. Doesn't need to be anything more complicated than that. We don't need DCE, don't need anything else. And that is the deck. Like I say, give it a try. It is a really good list. I've been enjoying it a lot. It's really consistent. So if you like having a little bit of fun and you like, big kaboomy attacks, you can't really go wrong. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check out my channel for more content, and I will see you next time.